All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Thanks for joining this episode of Inner Circle Live, our live podcast show. We're super excited to have you here with us. Over the next few weeks, are going to be doing some product education around the amazing formulas of BioOne Sciences. So I'm super excited to have you here with us. Jump into the chat and say hello. Super excited to see everyone here tonight. Alan and Alexis, Amy, Beverly. We've got a ton of you here today. Carolyn, Catherine, Debbie, Chris, Deanna. We've got so many people. Jump in and say hello. Let us know where you're from and put a 1 in the chat box if this is your first time here to our Inner Circle Live podcast show. Put a 1 in the box if this is your first time, and put a magical number 3 in the chat box if you are a seasoned watcher and attender of our live podcast show. Super excited to have you here. So let's go ahead and get started because I'm super excited to go over some of these products with you. Let me just take a quick look here. All right, I am going to do a screen share. And if you've joined us from anywhere from social media, welcome. Super, super excited to have you here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So happy to have you here. If you want to get access to the replays, be sure that you go to mhhinnercircle.com and register for the future upcoming talks that we have. We pretty much stick to a schedule of doing bi-weekly live podcast shows, and a lot of times we offer specials that are only available for current viewers, and we don't want you to miss out. So be sure to register at mhhinnercircle.com. Hi, Wendy. Yes, I'm back. Yes, I wasn't able to do the last one, and I didn't have a clone, someone who could actually do it for me. It's so good to see you, Wendy. I'm so glad that you're here. So let's jump in here and let's get going. All right. So I want to start out first by talking about the mission of BioOne Sciences, because our mission is truly unlike the missions of any other supplement company out there from my perspective, because our mission is to impact millions around the planet by introducing not only a new paradigm of healing and health with safe and effective supplements, but also making them more affordable so that those who are looking for holistic natural approaches can actually afford to take their supplement protocols. Holistic care is wonderful and it is the future of medicine. And we've seen tremendous, tremendous growth around the globe with holistic medicine, and in fact, it's growing so fast that it's really shaking things up. It is the future of medicine. It is here and it is upon us now. And one of the things that I've seen, one of the gaps that I've seen in the holistic industry and in the supplement industry is the cost. While I do believe that investing in ourselves and our health is the best thing that we can do, because we don't have anything if we don't have our health. It doesn't matter what you have, doesn't matter what kind of house you have, how much you can travel, what kind of cars you have, or even how much money you have if you don't have your health. And so, for us, and I came to this conclusion when I almost died several years ago from not taking care of my health. I used to always put a price tag on it, and if insurance wouldn't cover it, I wasn't sure that I wanted to do it. And then I almost died. And since then, I invest between 15 and 20% of my annual revenue back into me and my health. And what does that look like? That doesn't just look like supplements and visits with other holistic clinicians. That looks like my membership to the gym. That looks like my yoga instructor. That looks like me taking the time and the money to get good camping gear so that I can spend more time connecting outside, which I did last week. I spent 5 days up in the mountains, only saw one other human, and it was beautiful. I did a lot of cold plunging up in the alpine lakes, and it was a lot of fun. And so investing in yourself is the best thing that you can do. And what we've noticed, the gap that I have seen in the industry is that most of the top holistic practitioners out there, and most of the top, pretty much all of the top supplement lines out there, they're really affordable to the top 1 or 2% of the population. And so if holistic medicine is more in demand and it's growing as fast as it has been, I wanted to figure out a solution for how can we make it more affordable. And so Modern Holistic Health, our business that is focused on education and coaching, we've been working over many years for how we can make things more affordable, and we have been able to drive costs down. And with the advent of and the start of BioOne Sciences supplement company, we've been able to do the same, where we at BioOne Sciences are introducing a more affordable, more simple, easy to use and easy to take supplement line. And so that's what we're all about. That's what we're about. And if you want to read more details about our mission, you can go to BioOneSciences.com and you can click on the about or to learn more about the mission statement and our mission. So let's talk about the rising cost of supplements. In some cases, supplements have become just as expensive as pharmaceuticals. Put a 1 in the chat box if you have recognized that supplements have just become incredibly expensive. Put a 1 in the chat box. Let me see if I can open this up where I can actually see this while I'm sharing the screen. Okay, there we go. Let me move this over here. Yeah, so supplements have become very expensive, and oftentimes people are not able to take their entire protocols, and so they will piecemeal it together, and then they end up not getting the results, leaving the majority of those who are chronically ill in the same place. They're chronically sick because they can't afford it. Most therapeutic protocols, and I was trained in many different therapeutic protocols. I've been doing this type of work for many years. I would, I have seen that most therapeutic protocols are indeed well over $700 a month. Here is a slide showing some clients who have come to us. The one on the left was on 23 different bottles of supplements a month. The one on the right was on 35 different bottles, including some prescriptions. And then we've had some on as much as 86 supplements. Can you imagine? And when you know that you are taking them 2 to 3 times a day, sometimes more, some of them with food, some without, some in between meals, some when you first get up, some right before bed, that makes it super complicated. And that's a lot of pills to swallow. Look how many pills that this person was taking. I mean, a lot of them here say there were two a day. There were some that were 5 a day, some that were 3 a day. This person was spending all day swallowing a couple hundred pills every few hours. This is not sustainable, right, Angelia? Mercy, right? That's what I said when I saw this individual who came to us. And this was a man who came to us. And I just thought, oh my God, he had to code his stuff so that he would understand the purpose of it. So if you look on the right, on the top right of his picture of all of his supplements, he had them coded A, B, C, D, and so on. A was for anxiety, B was for brain, C was for cardiovascular. And then, so if you come back and you look at the actual supplements he was taking, how many pills do you need to take to address these things? I personally don't think that that practitioner really understood what they were doing, because you should never have to put your client or your patient on that many supplements. This is standard in the industry. So those of you, how many of you are working with us at Modern Holistic Health, and this is your first experience in the holistic world? Put a 2 in the chat box. How many of you are working with us and this is your very first experience in the holistic world? Okay, well, I hope this gives you encouragement and excitement and inspiration, because if you had gone anywhere else, this and this is what you would have been doing. This is what we used to do. And I saw that it was very unsustainable. And I started working on decreasing the number of pills as far back as 2017. I started working on decreasing it because this is not sustainable. And so if you thought, how many of you thought, those of you who are those ones who just responded, who are going through one of our programs and some coaching with Modern Holistic Health, our sister company, how many of you have thought before seeing this that our protocols of 7, 8, or 9 bottles was a lot? Don't be embarrassed to say it. Put a 1 in the chat box if you thought it was a lot. Now, those of you who just answer, what do you think now? I would love to see your comments. What do you think now that you're seeing this? Because this is the reality of the holistic world. And had you gone anywhere else, this is very likely what you would have been doing. And you would have been spending $700, $800, $900 a month, $10, $1,000 or $1,200 a month. I would love to see your comments. Lori, Carol, Shauna, give me your comments and let me know what you think now that you're realizing, right? Yeah, I mean, it's unsustainable for a lot of people. But I think it's important that people see this so that you can really understand how we have achieved the mission of what we set out to do with BioOne Sciences, which is to bring the cost down and to bring in the number of bottles that people have to take, and to make it simple. You can take all of our supplements with or without food. You don't have to take these in the morning before you eat, these with breakfast, these in between breakfast and lunch, these at lunch. I mean, that's just way too complicated, right? So let's jump back here. A lot of people in the holistic world, they don't even have an idea of what they're doing or why. So this was a client, no joke, who came to us, and when I asked her, what are you currently taking? She started crying. She ended up sending me pictures of it. And this is everything that she was taking. It's insane. And so therein comes the introduction of BioOne Sciences. I'm very, very proud of what we've done. I studied and actually did case studies on many other lines of products. And while some of the lines are great, they required a lot more bottles at a lot more cost and with a lot more complexity. And so what we've been able to do is pull it all in. So today I'm going to be talking to you about MCM. At our next Inner Circle call, I'm going to be talking about TCG. But just for some price comparisons, I have a couple of things that I want to show you, and then we're going to dive into more of the details and education on MCM Detox Plus today, because that's what we're going to be dialing in on. So we have put together what we call the powerhouse duo for detox. Why is this the powerhouse duo for detox? Because these two supplements together, TCG combined with MCM, not only bind and carry out virtually every and any toxin that you could possibly test for, including radioactive materials. We have seen it. The proof is in the pudding. We see people's labs come back with high levels of cesium or thallium or some other type of radioactive material. And then when they start this detox duo and we retest them, we see these radioactive materials completely eliminated from their bodies. And we are seeing a lot of people ask, are you seeing that in the United States? Yes, we're seeing a lot of people with radioactive materials accumulating in their bodies, making them very, very sick all around the country. but the retail cost is 127.97. Now I want to give you a lot more inspiration and excitement about the price of this. How many of you think this is expensive? Wait till you see what I'm going to show you. Put a one in the box. How many of you? Yes, we have seen uranium detox out of the body with MCM Detox combined with TCG. But how many of you think this is expensive? Jill, perfect. $127. It sounds expensive. It sounds expensive. But let me just show you a little bit more information that will give you a new perspective. Let me scroll down here. So this is a comparison analysis. So I have some great friends who started Cellcore, and I was one of their very first practitioners to start using their practitioner line of supplements. And I was also the first practitioner to do case studies for Cellcore. And one of the things that I had in my case studies was while the Cellcore products worked well, they were number one, pretty expensive. And I had to add a lot of other supplements to the Cellcore protocols because the Cellcore protocols alone were not enough to help me move the needle on seeing improvements, both on lab results, on subsequent follow-up labs, and in their symptom sheets. I had to add other things. And so this is a comparative analysis. So if you look at the pictures here, this is Cellcore's current detoxification protocol. They have different ones out there, but this is like their main line of detoxification. And when you buy all of these together, you're looking at about $267.80 retail versus ours, which is, sorry, I had the wrong pricing on there, versus ours, which is $185.94. So $185.94 versus $267. So there's almost $100 difference there. And you have to take 10 pills a day. Ours is 6 pills a day. So 10 pills a day versus 6 pills a day. Also, ours can be taken with meals, and we don't have to take some with meals, some without. That makes it very complicated. The other thing that I want you to note is that our detox duo with MCM Detox and TCG combined not only binds and carries toxins out of the body, it also supports cells, tissues, and organs. It supports the GI tract. It breaks up biofilm. It helps with DNA repair, drives water into the cells, drives minerals into the cells. So it does so much more than just binding and carrying toxins out of the body. Where when you compare that to the Cellcore products, it just doesn't even come close to that. Now, let's go into some education on MCM. But before we do that, now that you've seen a cost comparison, tell me what your thoughts are on the price of MCM Detox now. I actually have one more cost comparison. Tell me what your thoughts are now. So D, Jill, LL, you guys marked that you thought that MCM Detox at 127 was expensive. Now that we've compared it to a competitor who really isn't a competitor because their products they're not all encompassing like ours. Theirs only is for binding and detoxification. What are your thoughts now? Now that you see a price comparison, please put in the comments, what are your thoughts now? Okay, expensive compared to what? That's fair enough. Now, I want to compare this to some other products that we were using for a while before BioOne Sciences started developing and formulating. Thank you, Wendy, I appreciate that. Yes, Jill, our product does way more for way less, and it's a lot more easy to take. So these two products are products that we were using before BioOne started developing its first line of detoxification products. When we discovered Mito Detox 3, we were over the moon excited, like literally doing cartwheels. I was doing cartwheels. I was so excited. because it was combining a lot of the products that I wanted into one bottle. However, it was still missing a couple of products. It was still missing a couple things, and it didn't have pectin fiber in it. Pectin fiber is amazing for a lot of reasons, and we have added that into our MCM detoxification formula. So, but we were very excited because we went from using, you know, 4 bottles of Cellcore plus like 6 other bottles of stuff to get the results that we were getting, down to being able to switch to these 2 bottles. However, Mito Detox, that bottle is not enough to last a month, so you have to buy 2 bottles of it. So $52.99 times 2, we're looking about $105, $106, plus $108 for the pectin fiber. So you're looking around about $115, $120, something like that, or $215, $220. Actually, I added it up there, $214 retail per month. You're looking at 10 plus pills a day using our old formula before we came up with the BioOne formula, compared to the BioOne Detox Duo, which is only 6 pills a day. And so, just wanted to do some more comparison. Oh, and before we discovered Mito Detox 3 with the pectin fiber, we tried this combination. We literally were piecemealing everything together. That's a lot of bottles. How many bottles is that actually? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 bottles. And this was before we discovered Mito Detox 3 that was combining a lot of those things together. But that was $366.94 a month. And that didn't include making sure that you had enough methylation supplementation in your body, which we're going to talk about that in a few weeks. We're going to talk about methylation activation and why everybody needs it. This didn't include adding your vitamin D in, which everybody needs for their immune system when they're sick. This didn't include any brain support. And so we had to piece all this together. We did this for a few years. So those of you who are here with us now, if you were here with us back in 2020, 2021, we were doing this, or we were doing the Cellcore and then adding other things to it. It wasn't until late 2021, early 2022, when we discovered Mito Detox 3, and we were using that for a while. So I just wanted to show that to you. So I'm going to stop share for just a second. And let's take a look at, I'm going to take you over to our website so that you can learn how to navigate that. And we'll take a break for just a second and see some of the questions in here. Let's look at some of these and take a break from the screen for just a minute, from the slides. Wendy, yes, thank you. Thank you, Wendy, for, being such an amazing client and being with us. Shauna says, I really like how they are packaged so that each bottle is equal to 1 month of supplements. It gets confusing when the bottles all have different amounts. Yes, that's another thing that we worked with BioOne. We have actually worked with that. There are many companies out there that'll give you enough for 10 days worth for a therapeutic dose. So you have to buy like 3 bottles, or they'll give you 15 days worth. Or they'll do 2 months worth, and then all your other bottles are like 10, 15, or 30 days worth. And so it makes it complicated, right, Shauna? I get that. And so that's another thing that we've done with BioOne, is we're making our stuff basically last a month. One of the new things that we're getting ready to do, we're constantly improving how we do everything, is the average person, put a 1 in the box if you've been on supplement protocols with us or someone else. And if it's just enough for 30 days, but then you realize at the end of 30 days, because you might have missed the weekend, or you might have missed a Monday, you might have missed a Thursday, that you still end up with some left over. So you end up with a little bit left over. Put a 1 in the chat box if you've noticed that. Yeah, like that's super common. So this is the next evolution of BioOne. We're actually putting enough in the bottle to be just short of 30 days, like just short. So if you miss a weekend, you're still going to go through the whole bottle. And then if you're on subscription or reorder, you can get it. And over the course of 3 or 4 months, you don't end up with like a whole bunch of extra pills. And you're still going to get the results. And so, and it brings the cost down just a little bit more. And so this is the reality of things. I mean, even when I'm taking supplements, I'll go out for the weekend and I'll forget to take my stuff. or I'll be traveling one day to go see the grandkids, and I wake up at 4 in the morning to go jump on the plane, and the next thing you know, like it's the next day has passed, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I forgot to take my supplements yesterday. And so we don't want you guys to have to worry that you've got stuff left over, and that after 3 or 4 months, now you've got like half a bottle, but not enough to get you through a month. And so we've actually decreased it just a tiny bit, but basically it's going to last you for a month. And it drives the cost down just a little bit more, because anywhere we can shave off cost and still get you the results and keep it simple, that's what we want to do at BioOne Sciences. So what else do we have here going on with comments? Let's see. The country of origin of our manufacturing is here in the United States. And so, that is of utmost importance to us. We have all of our stuff is third-party testing. We use one of the top manufacturers in the country. And all of our stuff is GMP certified. If you're looking for supplements and you're ever using anything outside of BioOne Sciences, you should always look for the GMP stamp, that it's good manufacturing practices. And you can look closely at our labels, and you'll see our stuff is gluten-free, and it's chemical-free, and it's dairy-free. All of our stuff is super, super clean. Our goal is to make sure that whatever practitioner that you're working with who's using the BioOne line, that they can move the needle on your health. That's our bottom line. That was the reason that we designed this, is to make it more affordable, easier to take, fewer pills, and you actually get the results that you're going after. That's the whole mission with BioOne. So let's do a quick share again, and let's take a look here. Let's take a look here at this. So perfect. So actually, I'm gonna scroll out of this because I want you to see how to navigate. So if you go to the BioOne Sciences website, here's the front page, and you will continue to see evolution happening on the BioOne site. So you can see that there's register as a client or register as a practitioner. And so just so you know, for our current clients, very soon you will be receiving an email, probably in the next month or so, or sooner, where you will have your own special client code to be able to order, because this is not going to be available to the public anymore. It's only going to be through practitioners. Why? This is going to be available only through practitioners because this stuff is therapeutic grade. It really works, and we want to make sure that you know what you're doing when you're taking it. And so that's something that you'll see change. Every month or so, we're having a different product spotlight. And then the education and resources, I'm super excited about this. And you can sign up for our newsletters, and we are really building up our education and resources. In fact, this recording will end up on our education and resources page so that people can watch videos about MCM Detox and how it works. But if you're looking for a particular supplement, just come in here and you type that in, and you can come to the supplement. Now, this is where it gets really good. So not only do we have our ingredients listed, but we have information here, and we go into deep information on every single product we have, where you click here for product information. Now, we may update this at some point, where when you come to the page, all the product information is actually shown on the page without you having to click. But how many of you have noticed, like Wendy, have you noticed that we have this button down here when you come to order? Let me know if you've noticed that or not. I'll be curious to know. But you can click here on to the more information, and let's let it download. And you can see that we have very extensive, very detailed information on MCM Detox Plus. And so let's talk about this. I'm super, super proud of this formula. MCM Detox is truly a one-of-a-kind, very superior formula. Because as I mentioned earlier, it's not only combined what otherwise would be 2, 3, 5, 9 bottles of supplements at the therapeutic doses into one bottle. It has also included ingredients in there that support brain function, metabolic function, DNA repair, um, biofilm, uh, the breakup of biofilm in your GI tract, which is very, very common that you end up getting this biofilm growth when you have mold in your body or you have overgrowth of certain types of bacteria in your GI tract. They are really good at protecting themselves from our immune system, and they create this slime, this slimy substance called biofilm. And this biofilm creates more havoc on your immune system. It prevents your body from absorbing nutrients. It creates a problem. And you don't have to take separate biofilm busters. We actually have included ingredients in our MCM Detox that also work on biofilm. And we have ingredients in MCM Detox Plus that will help support your GI tract and will help seal any leaky junctions if you have leaky gut. And I can tell you that 100% of everybody who has chronic illness has leaky gut. Everybody does, when they're sick. And so we're able to do a lot inside of one formula, an incredible amount. This formula that we have put together was designed and formulated based on thousands of lab data points that we've collected over the years. So just to give you an example of how much lab data that we've collected, there are a handful of functional lab companies in the United States, really not more than a handful of them. And we work with one of them called Vibrant Labs. We are their biggest customer globally. Around the world, we are their biggest customer. So if that gives you any idea of how many labs that we order, how much data that we're collecting, that's pretty significant. And based off of the data that we've collected and all of the protocols and other brands and ingredients that we've tried throughout the years, we have taken the best of the best, the most effective, safe, gentle, multifaceted ingredients, and we have alchemized them and put them together in one formula. And so when it comes to detoxification, where if you went to another practitioner and they did labs on you and they saw mold and then they saw chemicals, maybe some plastics, some toxic plastics in your body, and then heavy metals perhaps, do you know that they're going to likely put you on 4 different protocols? They're going to put you on one for mold to detox the mold. They're going to put you on one to detox the heavy metals. They're going to put you on another one to detox the plastics and the chemicals, right? And so we've been able to put a formula together that takes care of all of it. And we've seen this incredible improvement in radioactive materials too, which in school they teach you that, that you can't neutralize radioactive materials, but we're seeing it come out of the body with before and after labs. And so with MCM Detox Plus, you don't need to take all of these different protocols for all of these different environmental toxins. You're actually able to take one and it's going to get out the heavy metals, it's going to get out the radioactive materials, it's going to get out the plastics, the harmful chemical toxins, it's going to get out all the toxic molds. And so it really brings a multifaceted approach that, from my perspective, is superior to anything else out there. And I'm super, super proud of this product. Now, you can read about this here, of course, on your own, but I'm going to take you through it. And I want to highlight some of the ingredients that we put in here and what they do so that you can understand how amazing that this product really is. So how many of you have heard of NAC, NAC? Raise your hand if you've heard of NAC. And let me see if I can open up the chat again. There we go. Yeah, perfect. So NAC was, the government tried to take NAC off the market during COVID because NAC was saving people's lives. NAC has a lot of amazing properties. And when I found out that that happened, I ended up buying cases and cases and cases of it, and was providing it to my local community. And this, combined with a few other things that we have for a COVID protocol, actually saved a lot of people's life. And of course, it's still on the market today. Another interesting thing to know about NAC is that it's used in alcohol poisoning. So this is how effective this is at detoxing the body. Quick detox. This saves people's lives. If they go into the hospital for alcohol poisoning, they will do high dose NAC IVs. Karen, you said that you remember that when they tried to take NAC off the market. It's just crazy, all the stuff that works, right? That's just there's a lot of corruption. So, anyways, NAC is a key supplement that supports the health of the mitochondria. It helps with detoxification. It's absolutely incredible. And I see some typos in here. We're going to have to update that. But NAC is a true beacon of detoxification. It's a guardian of cellular integrity. It preserves cellular health. When you're chronically sick, you're sick all the way down to your cells. If you could talk to your cells, if you could see them under a microscope, you would see that they are sick too. That's why you're sick. If you're sick, your cells are sick. And so it's really important that we protect the integrity of our cells. It is also a mycotoxin nemesis, meaning that it is wonderful at detoxing toxic mold out of the body. It also will detox environmental chemicals and heavy metals out of the body as well. And it's really good for your liver. It will help heal your liver and help your liver to detox toxins out. That's why it's used in alcohol poisoning, right? Because it's literally saving the individual's liver, so they don't have liver failure from alcohol poisoning. It also helps with kidney health. So, that's amazing. A lot of people who are sick also have inflammation and dysfunction in their kidneys, and NAC is wonderful at helping support kidneys. NAC supports respiratory health. So during COVID, one of the things that people were doing that was saving lives is they were taking NAC in a capsule, they were opening it up and they were mixing it with distilled water, putting it in a nebulizer. That's what asthmatics use. And they were breathing the NAC into their lungs. And it was taking down the inflammation so that these people could breathe and actually uptake oxygen into their cells. It's also a great defense mechanism against radiation. It is wonderful for immune support. It is a biofilm disruptor. It gives you cognitive or brain support, and it's all backed by science. And that's a lot. So let me show you something. So all of the stuff that I talk about at the very, very end here, I have references on everything. So all of the things that I just told you that NAC does, I've got references here. And I think that for those like me, how many of you are just love to go down the rabbit hole on really learning this stuff? Put a 3 in the box. 3 is like one of my favorite numbers. Put a 3. I love to do this. And so if I'm going to talk about it and teach you and empower you and show you why ours is the best, I'm going to put all the references too, right? Right? So doesn't this excite you? Like I put all the references for every ingredient in here and all of the things that I'm teaching you that it can do. Let's go back up here to citrus pectin. So some people say, well, what's the difference between citrus pectin and modified citrus pectin? So modified citrus pectin is like a registered trademark. And when I started going down the rabbit hole on this, you can't really trademark and like a natural supplement. Like you can't claim it for yourself. However, if you do a bunch of research on a particular supplement, sometimes they'll modify it just a little bit. So, which is why it's called modified citrus pectin. It's different from citrus pectin. They've modified it a little bit and then they do a bunch of research on it and they publish the research. Now they can actually basically own that. Because I used to wonder, like, well, what's the difference between modified citrus pectin and citrus pectin? And is modified citrus pectin, which is so expensive, by the way, is it really better or different than citrus pectin? Well, I had some research articles and some individuals tried to convince me that it was, but when I asked them if they had case studies to prove otherwise, nobody really had case studies to prove that modified citrus pectin was really any better than citrus pectin. And remember, this is all nature's food. Everything that we have in here came from nature, or it's based out off of nature. And so citrus pectin, it's wonderful. And we've opted to use citrus pectin instead of modified citrus pectin, and we see amazing results. And so citrus pectin is a known toxin purging agent. So it's wonderful for systemic detoxification. It also supports the microbiome because it can act like a prebiotic, helping to give the right quote unquote fertilizer for the healthy bacteria in our body to be able to survive and sustain and replicate. And remember, the good bacteria in our body are essential for our immune system. They are essential for us to be able to uptake and absorb nutrients from our food. They help us even make some of our nutrients. And so when we're chronically sick, one of the side effects of being chronically sick is that we have a disrupted gut microbiome. The ecosystem of our GI tract is a mess, some worse than others. And so adding citrus pectin not only helps in the detoxification process of all toxins, pretty much, metals, mold, radioactive materials, biofilm, but it also supports the gut microbiome, which means it's going to be supporting brain chemistry production and breakdown, and it's going to be supporting our immune system, and it's going to support the ability for our body to uptake nutrients. So chlorella, how many of you have heard of chlorella? Put a 1 in the box. Yes, put a 1 in the box. So our chlorella is third-party tested. Our chlorella does not have any heavy metals. I mean, think about this. The founder of BioOne Sciences, right? Like our whole goal is to move the needle on seeing your toxins go down, not up, right? And so we're going to make sure that everything that we put in here is super clean and toxin free, of course. Versus other companies out there that are just supplement companies. They're just out there to sell supplements. They're really good with their marketing, so they're able to sell millions of them. Ours was actually founded on the work of modern holistic health, and the results that we've been able to achieve with over 90% of our clients around the world, which says a lot when you can get that type of excellent clinical outcomes at that high of a percent. So chlorella is a really good chelator and toxin binder. So what does it mean for chelation? Like, what does that mean exactly? And how is that different from detoxification? So a chelator is something that will break apart the binding of the toxin to the tissues. So when a toxin binds to the tissue, think of it like a really strong magnet. It's binding to the tissue and it's not going to let go. But there are some substances that we can put in our body that are foods, actually. So cilantro is a wonderful chelator as well. Chlorella is a great chelator. It will kind of act like a neutralizer to the magnet, so that the toxin can no longer have that strong hold onto the tissue. And that's what chelator means. It's unbinding the toxin from the tissue in the body. But it also doesn't just act as a chelator, it acts as a binder. And so that's really, really awesome. And there's a lot of clinical studies that show how effective that chlorella is in detoxing the body. Now, in addition to a wonderful chelator and detox ingredient, it also provides mitochondrial support and immune system support, because chlorella is packed with vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and even amino acids that help nourish and support mitochondrial health, cellular integrity, just overall how you feel. It can enhance your energy and your vitality. And it also promotes gut health. So I see, I thought I saw a question in there asking about gut health, but chlorella does support a very healthy gut microbiome, which is essential for proper detoxification and overall health, as I have mentioned. And DA, I'm not familiar with chlorella actually eliminating beneficial minerals. I've never heard of that before. I know that it can put a lot of minerals back into the body. And the different ingredients, the combination of ingredients that we have in MCM Detox are actually designed to put minerals and nutrients back into the body. The other great thing about chlorella is that it breaks up biofilm. So now we've got NAC and chlorella that are both known to break up biofilm. Isn't that amazing? We used to have to put people on biofilm breakers, so it was just like one more bottle of stuff that they had to buy. Acetyl L-carnitine, this is the next ingredient I want to talk about. This really supports and energizes the cells. And this is super important because when the cells are detoxing, they are using a lot of energy. And remember that the cells not only need energy for detoxification, they need energy for our everyday function. And so acetyl L-carnitine can really be used to help support our metabolic systems. Super, super important. And we used to put people on a separate bottles of acetyl L-carnitine. But we don't have to do that anymore because now it's in MCM Detox. Acetyl L-carnitine also supports brain health. Anyone who comes to us who we're working with on neurodegenerative issues with their brain, we put them on acetyl L-carnitine. If they're not in a detoxification phase of their work with us, we will put where it's already included in their MCM Detox. We put them on a separate bottle of that. It's really, really important for the brain. It has a lot of neuroprotective effects and helps support cognitive function, including memory and focus, which are often affected by toxin exposure. Now let's move into alpha lipoic acid. With alpha lipoic acid, it's also a wonderful antioxidant and heavy metal chelator. It has really wonderful synergistic effects with other antioxidants, with vitamin C and E to enhance the overall ability of the body's detoxification capacity. It also supports the liver in detoxification, and it offers a lot of brain support as well. A lot of neuroprotective benefits, shielding the brain from toxin-induced damage and oxidative stress and inflammation. Now let's get into nicotinamide riboside chloride, which is a precursor to NAD, different from NAC. And this really helps to boost cellular detoxification. It also helps with DNA repair. So super, super important because when you're chronically sick, remember your cells are under a tremendous amount of stress. But what's dictating the functionality of your cells? Your DNA. And so when your body has a toxic load, it's not only affecting your cells, your tissues in your organs, it's affecting your very DNA and can and oftentimes does cause genetic mutations. And so it's really, really important that we clean up our bodies, keep them clean. And during the process of detoxification, let's give our body some extra support to help protect our DNA and to help repair our DNA. NAD also enhances detoxification pathways. It supports your mitochondria, which is the powerhouse of your cell. Think of it as your battery power, your energy source starts in your mitochondria, which is an organelle or little mini organ inside of your cells. And you don't just have one mitochondria in each cell. Depending on which part of your body the mitochondria is in, like your liver cells have a certain amount of mitochondria, your brain cells have a tremendous amount of mitochondria, your kidney cells, your stomach cells, all of the different cells in your body that are in the different organs, they each have different amounts of mitochondria depending on how much energy consumption is typically used by those different organ systems. And so we want to make sure that we support the mitochondria. The mitochondria can become dramatically affected in a super negative way when we have toxic load and we're chronically sick. And then we also have Sheila G. So Sheila G is a combination of humic fulvic, just like what we have in our very concentrated version of our TCG activation, which we'll be talking about on another episode of our Inner Circle Live podcast show. But we've included it here in the event that maybe someone needs to, take a lower dose of humic fulvic, which is very, very rare. But in my quest to make this an all-encompassing product, I added just a little bit in here because It enhances nutrient absorption. It binds to toxins. It supports cellular function. It reduces biofilm formation, and it helps support leaky gut issues. And then finally, we added a little bit of biotin. And the reason why we did that is because it's a metabolic process enhancer and it helps aid in toxin breakdown. It also supports metabolic health. It supports liver and kidney function. And so we've added biotin as well. And again, here are all of the references so that you can take a look. We have this for every single one of our supplements. Yeah, I'm just super excited to be able to have gone over this product with you. Would love to get your feedback on what you think about this product now that we've been able to actually go through it together. And while I'm looking at your feedback, I'm going to go back through and answer some questions. So hold on just one second. So LL, you've got some really great questions. LL is saying, if citrus pectin removes toxins, won't it also pull out other minerals? And if it's taken together with other supplements and food, will it pull out those nutrients? So this is what I've done with our MCM Detox. I've actually put together a combination of ingredients that you can take with or without food that's not stealing your nutrients. And so the combination of what I put into MCM Detox is not only flooding your body with nutrients, but it's also binding and carrying out toxins and supporting your cells, tissues, and organs. And so, no, it's not binding to it. I have had some people say that pectin will bind. I don't see that happening with all of the data that we've collected, all of the before and after labs. We don't see that that's actually an issue. And, think about it. When you're putting pectin into your body, that's fiber from food. That's food-based fiber. When would nature put something together that has fiber and nutrients in it? Nature is perfect. It doesn't do that. So think about an apple. An apple has fiber, apple pectin. An orange or different citrus fruits have citrus pectin. That's what we have in here is citrus pectin. And it's full of nutrients, vitamins, minerals, phytonutrients. When you eat an apple, the fiber in the apple or the fiber in the citrus fruit is not binding to the nutrients that it's providing you in the fruit, right? That makes sense. And then also with all the lab testing and all the data points that we've collected, we haven't seen that it's caused any type of nutrient deficiencies whatsoever. And again, it makes sense because it's food-based fiber, right? Food is your best medicine. Food is your best medicine. DA is saying, do you agree that zeolite can help eliminating heavy metals? Absolutely. So this is a good one for LL to hear as well, for all of you. Zeolite clays and other types of clays and activated charcoal, these have been well established and well researched that they are great at binding and detoxing different toxins, including heavy metals. The problem with zeolite and the problem with activated charcoal and the problem with other types of clays, bentonite clays and that, those will bind to your nutrients. It will bind to anything that's in your GI tract. It'll hold on to it like a magnet and it will come out in your poop. And so that's why I haven't put those in any of our formulations. Because if you take a formulation that has zeolite in it, then you're going to have to take it apart from your other supplements, which is going to then make it more complicated too, right? You can't take it with your other supplements. It's going to bind to the supplements and then you're not going to get any benefit out of the supplements. So now you're going back to, okay, I'm going to take these things with my meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but this with the zeolite or the bentonite or the charcoal, I'm going to take this an hour before my meal and 2 hours before my next meal. 2 to 3 times a day. That's super complicated. And so I just left those ingredients out. I've used them in the past. I've tested them. They work great. And they make things a lot more complicated because you can't just take all your stuff together. Lorna is asking, is chlorella okay if you have Hashimoto's? We've never seen an issue with chlorella and Hashimoto's, and we've worked with hundreds of Hashimoto's cases. And so the thing with Hashimoto's is that, interestingly enough, once you start having an autoimmune issue, your body might start having reactivity to things that would normally be considered good for addressing Hashimoto's or other issues in the body. And this is why when you have an autoimmune disease like Hashimoto's, which is where which is where your immune system starts attacking your thyroid, this is why it's really important to work with a practitioner who does regular testing. So, I know many practitioners who will work with Hashimoto's who will put them on a protocol and won't retest them for 6 months to a year. I think that's insane. If I'm going to work with you and you have Hashimoto's, your labs are going to show that you have high antibody reaction with your TGA and TPO antibodies, which are the antibodies directly related to your immune system that are attacking your thyroid. Those numbers are going to be high. And if I'm going to put you on a protocol, I'm going to retest your antibodies probably in 30 to 45 days, because if I have you on the right protocol, your antibodies are going to start to come down that fast. It doesn't mean that they'll get within range within 30 to 45 days, but we're going to start seeing a downward trend. And so if I put you on a protocol for Hashimoto's, I'm going to retest you in 30 to 45 days to ensure what I am doing is actually moving the needle in the right direction. And if it is, I'm going to keep you on that protocol, and then I might recheck again after 90 days, after about 3 months, maybe 4 months. And then we should see the antibodies really, really low by then, if you're following the protocol correctly. If I put you on a protocol for Hashimoto's and I retest you in 30 to 45 days and I see your antibody markers haven't changed, they're still the same or they've gone up, then we're going to dive in and we're going to look at your protocol. We're going to look at your foods, because gluten is a huge offender for people with autoimmune disease. Like, if it's just going to throw your antibodies through the roof. Your immune system is going to go crazy if you're putting gluten in your body. So we're going to check your foods. We're going to double check your foods, make sure you're not getting glutened on accident. And then we're going to also go back and look at your supplements, because it can happen, and there's no way for the doctor or the practitioner to know if a particular supplement that's usually good for Hashimoto's may not be working for you unless you test. And so this is why we do the testing and we follow the data. And so anyways, that's just my perspective on Hashimoto's, and I believe that testing should be done more often to make sure that your supplements are moving the needle in the right direction. What else do we have? So DA is asking, do you conduct any hair analysis to address heavy metals and mineral health? No, I typically don't. I like to do it in urine. So there are 3 different ways that you can check for heavy metals. You can check for heavy metals through hair analysis, you can check for heavy metals through blood, and you can check for heavy metals through urine. When you're looking at heavy metals analysis that is done through hair, you could have had that exposure decades ago. Well, maybe not if your hair is falling out. So you could have had that a long time ago. So like this hair, this length of hair is about, well, probably about 10 years, because your hair grows about, what is it, about a quarter inch a month on average. And so actually, yeah, this hair could be actually 15 years old, right? And so when you're looking at a heavy metal analysis, you're actually looking, if it shows you that there's heavy metals, you don't know if you ended up having that exposure 20 years ago, 15 years ago, 10 years ago, or if you're getting exposure right now. And so we like to look in the urine, because we can tell not only if we're having more like current exposures, we can actually watch the needle move as the toxins are coming out. And so we prefer to do it with urine. There's not really a right way or a wrong way. That's just the way that we prefer to actually do it. Yeah, that's the way that we prefer to do it. Plus, when you're detoxing, you want to see if it's actually coming out of the body. And so that's a lot harder to do if you're doing a hair mineral analysis. And so we prefer not to do it like that. Sarah is asking, do you use the MCM Detox formula for SIBO, specifically for hydrogen sulfide? If someone has SIBO, we're not going to put them on a heavy detoxification protocol like this until we stabilize their GI tract. So we're going to eliminate the SIBO first. Usually that's around a 2-month protocol, usually. And once we eliminate the SIBO, then we'll go in and we'll do the deep detoxification to help address the toxic load that is showing up on your toxin labs. DA is asking, have you ever considered adding milk thistle for liver health, or phytosome quercetin to your formula? So we actually have that in one of our other supplement products that is specifically designed to add extra support for phase 1 and phase 2 liver detoxification. Unfortunately, we couldn't fit the ingredients that are in the liver GB detox complete. We weren't able to fit all those ingredients into this pill. Like, we've already put so much into this bottle, we just couldn't fit anything else in there. And so we have a separate one that gives the added support for phase 1 and phase 2 liver detoxification. Humic and fulvic can help eliminate glyphosate. Absolutely, they can. But here's the interesting thing about glyphosate. Glyphosate has a very short half-life. What does half-life mean? The half-life is how long it takes to get half of the amount of glyphosate, for example, out of your body. So let's say, for example, that we measured and we had 100 units, doesn't matter what kind of unit, let's just say we had 100 units of glyphosate that showed up on our toxin lab test. We can look up the half-life of glyphosate. I can't tell you exactly what it is, but I think it's like 5 to 15 days is the half-life, somewhere in there, just depending on the body and depending on the circumstances. It has a very short half-life. So let's say that the half-life was 5 days for glyphosate. That means that it would take 5 days for the 100 units of glyphosate that's in the body to go down to 50 units. Then it would take another 5 days to go from 50 units to 25 units. Then another 5 days to go from 25 units down to 12.5 units, and so on until there's no more glyphosate left in the body. That's what half-life means. Glyphosate, out of all the toxins out there, glyphosate has one of the shortest half-lives of all the chemical toxins, meaning that it comes out of the body pretty fast. So when people see high levels of glyphosate in their body, they're putting it in way faster than it's coming out. So do a little bit of research, since I have a lot of research geeks here. Go online tonight and see what the half-life of glyphosate is in the human body. And if you've done any testing and you have seen high levels of glyphosate, it's because you're putting it in way faster than it's able to come out. And so, yes, humic fulvic can detox glyphosate. So do all of the ingredients in MCM Detox. And it's even more important for us to understand where we're getting exposure and to stop exposing ourselves. Because glyphosate is one of those things that it actually can come out of the body on its own, where a lot of these other toxins cannot, which is one of the many things that makes them so dangerous, because they accumulate in the body. You have this biotoxin accumulation because it can't come out on its own, but glyphosate can. Jill, yes, MCM Detox does a lot for detox and whole body support. Super, super proud of this supplement. Trisha says that she's lived through a myriad of huge protocols and this product is amazing. Thank you, Trisha. Thank you for acknowledging that. Only someone who's been through other protocols and worked with other types of protocols can really have a super deep appreciation for this. And so thank you for that. I appreciate it. Yes, charcoal is super restrictive. Oh, are you taking charcoal, Allison, right now? It sounds like you're saying that it's super restrictive in your schedule of taking supplements. It certainly is. I mean, it's a wonderful product. Again, it has its time and it has its place, but what if you can take something else that doesn't make your protocol so complicated? I mean, that's what we want, is simplicity. You can take all, so Dolores is asking, can you take it with or without food? You can take all of our products with food or without food. Super easy, super easy. That's our goal, is to make it as easy as possible. You can take it with or without food. Amy is asking if we work with people who have late stage neurological Lyme disease associated to co-infections. Yes, we can. And just know, you probably already know this if you have Lyme, it's one of the most complex things to work with out there. And, we're typically working with Lyme clients for a couple of years. And we have one of the top Lyme experts on our team. Her name is Dr. Haley. She's really, really good with Lyme. And one of my best friends is one of the top Lyme doctors in the country, Dr. Tom Moorcroft. And so sometimes I will refer out, just depending on the case. And Dr. Tom and I, or Dr. Tom and Dr. Haley, will work in conjunction with you on your case. Michael, should we detox every day all year long? This is a great question. So this is a multifaceted answer if you're ready for this. So when we're detoxing, typically when people come see us, they're sick. And we know that 95% of people who are chronically sick have at least 3 chemical toxins in their body at really high levels that are directly known to cause their exact symptoms, conditions, and disease. And so when people come see us and they're sick and we test and they come back showing 7 or 9 different chemical toxins with some plastics thrown in there, they'll typically also show about 70 to 75% of these people will show up with at least 1 high level of toxic mold in their body. And 20 to 25% of these people will show up with at least 1 heavy metal or radioactive material in their body, all contributing to their chronic illness. And so we will work for a year to detox them. And we like to retest twice. So we like to do the initial test at the beginning, and then we like to retest at about month 4 or 5. And then we like to retest again around month 10. By month 10, we expect to see all of the toxins out of the body if you're not re-exposing yourself. There are a few heavy metals out there that are very difficult to get out, like aluminum and mercury. And these can take longer than 2 years to get out, but you'll still keep seeing a decrease over the course of the year. So you know you're on the right track. But what do you do once you've detoxed everything out of your body? This is super important. So I want you guys to write this stuff down. We used to recommend after we took an individual through an initial detox and we were able to show on their final labs around month 10 or 11 that all their toxins were gone, we would tell them, and they were feeling better, like they're healed, all their symptoms are gone, their misdiagnoses of XYZ is gone, they're feeling really great. Then we put them on a wellness protocol, take your vitamin D every day. Here's we want you adding this extra protein in your body since you have a hard time eating a lot of food, you need extra protein. We'll tell them how much water to drink. We'll help them dial in on their diet. And maybe we'll have them taking some methylation activation, which we're going to talk about at one of our inner circle calls, just to ensure that they're getting enough methylfolate and methyl B12 and the other B vitamins that they need to sustain health. And then we would tell them, do your blood work and your hormones every year. Let's just double check those, especially if you're women. We definitely want to look at the hormones. And then every other year, we want you to do a tox panel. Well, guess what? We don't do that anymore. We tell people to do it every year. Why? Because we are so inundated with toxins. They are in the air we breathe, they're in the water, they're in our food, even when you're buying organic, they're in our clothes, they're on your carpet, they're in your furniture, they're everywhere. And we have seen, including in myself, we have seen people's toxins go from 0 toxins on their labs because they did all the detox and they got themselves better again, they're healthy. And then a year later, they're showing up with some of the same toxins or new ones, and they're back up again. This is why it's so important for us to vote with our dollars. This is why it's so important for us to understand the corruption that's happening out there. We have so many toxins in our environment that it's necessary for us to not only test every year, it's necessary for us to do some level of detox throughout the year. So, Michael Cox, this is a wonderful question. When people, once they have done their heavy lifting detoxification and they've reclaimed their health, we teach them how to do microdosing of TCG activation and MCM Detox. So we'll have them microdose that. And typically what we're doing right now, we're still collecting data on this. So we've seen that TCG activation works very, very well to maintain the toxins out of the body, except it does not work on plastics. It's not working on plastics. It's not working on BPA. And we're still collecting data to see what else it may not be working on. And BPA is everywhere. It's permeated our soil. It's in your organic meat because the cows are eating organic grass, from which has been watered from the rain, from the sky, that has BPA contamination. It is everywhere. It is everywhere. And so we're having people continue with TCG activation at 1 dropper full a day. And then we're having them microdose the MCM Detox by taking 1 pill a day, 1 capsule a day of MCM Detox. And once we've collected enough information on our wellness clients who are doing this, and we've been able to collect enough data to show the consistency of that keeping the toxins at bay, we will be publishing that and talking about that. I'll be screaming from the rooftops about that. But yeah, people do need to detox every day. They just don't necessarily need to do it at that high of a level, at that intensity, once they've cleared the toxins out of their body, if they're not exposing themselves, if they're not unknowingly exposing themselves. Lorna is saying that she has Hashimoto's and she's been off gluten and dairy for over 10 years, and that she has the MTHFR gene. Does your supplement contain folate? I have to avoid folate. So if you have the MTHFR gene, you should be taking methylfolate. And it's very likely that if you haven't had your other methylation genes tested, most doctors will only test for the 677T and the 1298C methylation mutations or methylation genes. They're not testing for the myriad, 15 other methylation genes out there, because most of them don't know about that. We test for all of the significant methylation genes. Most people who have the MTHFR gene also have MTRR, and they have a bunch of other methylation gene mutations as well, which require them to also take methyl B12. And so we have a product called Methylation Activation. There's nothing else on the market like it. It's the highest dose that you can get of methylfolate and methyl B12 without a prescription. And the prescription, by the way, has toxic red dye in it and other crap. And it costs around, I don't know, it used to cost around $300 and something a month. And we formulated ours. It's the strongest on the market that you can find. It's at a cost of under $60. And I think that currently that's, depending on your dose, it can last you up to 2 months. And we're in the process of reformulating our methylation product to also include other B vitamins like B6 and B2 and B5 and all of these other ones, so that we can truly have the best methylation product on the market, hands down. There will be nothing else like it until someone copies what we've done. Functional lab tests, Lorna, are not covered by Medicaid or any kind of insurance. And let me explain why. So in the medical model, in the old, I'm going to call it the old broken system, because that's what it is. It's very, very quickly dismantling because of the corruption in the current old model of medicine. They are looking for diagnoses, and then they're doing diagnosis, treatment, diagnosis, treatment. Treatments don't work 90% of the time. That's why you have to stay on the medication. It's just helping you with a symptom. It's not fixing the problem. How many of you heard and understand what I just said? Put a 1 in the chat box. Diagnosis, treatment, diagnosis, treatment, diagnosis, treatment. It doesn't work. Why do you think you have to stay on your medications? And then how many of you started on one medication and now you're on 3 or more medications? Put a 2 in the box. Put a 2 in the box. You started on one medication and now you're on 3 or more. That's because pharmaceuticals are not designed to cure anything. There is no cure. Why do you think we have the highest rates of chronic disease that we have ever seen in written history? Not just in the United States, but around the world. Because they're not curing anything. There's a lot of corruption and deception in that old model. And that old model is supported by insurance. They're all tied in together. They're all making money off keeping you sick. And so, no, the real cures, which we don't use those words in holistic medicine because we're not allowed to. And frankly, I don't like to use that word. The real solutions, if you really want to fix it, you're going to have to go outside of that system. You think that they're paying for your cure. They're not paying for your cure. They're paying to keep you sick. That's exactly what's happening. So, how did you guys enjoy this? Let me know if this was great education for you. I'm super, super excited to have you come back. Invite your friends, come back. Let's grow this community. I also want to invite you to a very special event that we're hosting in October. And if you're interested in this event, I want you to, Tara, give me an idea of how they can reach out if they're interested in this event that I'm getting ready to tell them about. We don't have the page ready for you to get your tickets yet, but the tickets are already half sold out to practitioners. We are hosting a retreat and conference in October, October 10th through 13th, in the beautiful mountains of Park City, Utah. And we're going to be doing beautiful live community healing experiences. We're going to be connecting. We're going to be hugging all of you, all of our clients that we've known for so long. This is going to be a great way for everybody to finally get to know each other. Everyone who's done our group community classes, you're going to get to meet each other in person. We're going to take you through the science and biology of the protocols that we've developed. We're going to show you case studies before and after. We're going to have a lot of our clients that are going to be there talking about their own experiences. But in addition to that, we're going to be going deep into some quantum energetic medicine healing experiences that is going to be super ultra transformative. It's going to be a weekend of connection, empowerment, self-love, and a lot of inspiration and transformation. How many of you are excited about coming to something like that? We're going to grow this community. We're going to connect. We're going to inspire. It's going to be absolutely amazing. Karen, it's not cold up here in Park City in October. It's absolutely fantastic. The weather's just starting to shift, and it's going to be gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. And we're going to do it in the beautiful resort, Black Rock hotel and resort that's overlooking the mountains. It's absolutely beautiful. I've curated with a chef Ernesto over at the resort the most healthy meals. So we're going to have 3 meals a day that are included in your ticket, plus a lot of transformation, a lot of connection. It's going to be a lot of fun. Tara, what are your ideas for how they can connect? Oh, I just had an idea. If you registered for this Inner Circle live podcast show, we'll be sending you the replay and a lot in an email. So I will make sure that we have the link. And we are doing this for a very short period of time. We opened it up for 20 spots for half off. And we've had a huge response. We sent out an email to our clients yesterday. We've had a huge response, and we don't, the first 20 came in, and then we had like another 30 people come in, and I didn't want to tell them no. So we're going to offer you half off, but you're going to have to get it by Friday. You're going to have to get your ticket, or by the end of the week. I don't remember. It's just a few days. We're only keeping it open for a few days. We would love to see you. We want you to come and have a beautiful self-love, self-empowerment retreat conference experience, something like you've never had before, with a lot of connection. And we're going to start doing this all the time. Yes, Wanda, I know BlackRock is a very evil empire. I also recognize that they own the hotel, and pretty much every hotel chain that's out there that's nice are evil empires. And so until our company grows big enough that we can buy our own ranch, where we can build our big barndos and have everybody fit, which is a goal of mine, to be able to have a ranch where we can have community, where people can come to heal and live out there and do all these things. It's one of my dreams. That's I vote with my dollar very well, but looking for a venue was very, very hard. It was very difficult to find a venue. And so I did find a beautiful one who is working with me to give me incredible room rates that I'm passing on to you, because it's not cheap to come stay here in this area of the country, but we have been able to get room rates as low as like 150, $170 a night. So really, really good, and all your food will be included and all of the things. So we're doing that, and then I have one more special that I want to offer you, and that is a special discount code for any of you who are new. Um, we're doing a special discount code that is, Tara, can you give us the details on that?
I just put it in the chat. But yeah, they can go to our website and book with Mike and use the coupon code July NV. And that is just for Mike. It won't work for any of the other practitioners. And go ahead and do that. You do get a discount on that. And he's an amazing practitioner.
Yes, Mike is amazing. So our new client visits are normally I don't know, just a hair over $400. And you're getting this for 197. So if you're new and you want to join our family and you want us to help you, we have created a special coupon code. It's only going to last, I believe, what did Greg say, Tara, through the end of the month? So it's going to last just a few more days.
Yep, just till July 31st.
Yes. So we want to offer that to you. So Wanda, Mike does not specialize in trauma therapy. However, we have an entire team who does. And typically, when we see people who are suffering with a lot of trauma, they also have a lot of biological things going on. And so Mike would be your very first person that you would see, who would look at all of your vast history intake that we require when you book an appointment. Super important to fill it out. Some of it may seem redundant, but trust me, just trust the process. There's a method to our madness. You have to fill out all the intake paperwork. And then when Mike gets on that initial call with you, he's gonna fill in any of the gaps that wasn't already filled in your history, and really get to know you. Because most people need multifaceted healing approaches. That means mind, body, spirit. Most of us who have trauma, we have mind, body, spirit issues that we need to take care of all of it. And that's where a lot of holistic practitioners are. There's a big gap in that, because it's hard for one practitioner to learn trauma and emotional healing and understand all the genetic stuff and understand all the gut stuff and all of the labs and the toxins and all of the things. That's almost impossible for one practitioner to master all of those different things, all the facets of the human condition and mind, body, spirit. And so one of the things that makes Modern Holistic Health, our sister company from BioOne, one of the things that makes them so unique is that we have a team of practitioners who specialize in all of the different things. And so very often, when our biological practitioners see clients for their first visit, as like Mike would see you for your first visit, he's going to do this assessment with you, and he's going to determine if you will really benefit from a life team of practitioners. We have some clients here with us tonight who have a life team of practitioners. Please, Wendy, and you're the other ones, jump in and talk about what that experience is like. We will actually set you up with a life team who will work on all facets of your human condition and mind, body, spirit. So you're going to have people like Mike who will work on the biological side with the labs and the foods and the genetics and doing all of that. And then you're going to have mindset coaches and trauma coaches. And you're going to have all these people that come together who meet every week to work on your behalf and collaborate on your behalf to get your health back so that you can live life on your terms. And so, yes, that's kind of how we do it. All of our supplements are dairy, corn, and soy free. Of course they are. If we're working with chronic illnesses, we're not going to put those types of food toxins into our supplements. So, yes. Oh, Shauna, thank you, Shauna. Thank you for jumping in on that. She says that she can she can really tell that all of us collaborate together behind the scenes to work on her case. Yeah, absolutely. So perfect. Awesome. Well, thank you very much. Welcome again to this episode of our Inner Circle Live podcast show. We're super excited to have you here with us. Be sure to register for our next one where we take a deep dive into TCG activation. And then another 2 weeks after that, we're going to go into methylation activation, where we're going to be doing a little lesson on epigenetics and the MTHFR methylation mutations, as well as some other methylation mutations, and why methylation activation is the best of its kind in the market that you can get for methylation mutation issues. So thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening.